we're now into Champion Select here for game number 3, the final match of the evening. It's WE taking on IG, and already Kog'Maw banned away from Mystic. Nobody wants to see that one again, as Syndra again banned away from Rookie. So not seeing too much change as WE are sticking towards the blue side here. Seems like IG have elected to take red side in this matchup.
But again, that makes sense for Invictus Gaming. You have the likes of Rookie, so why not open up the possibility that you can get that counter pick in the mid lane and look to abuse that 1v1 matchup.
There is now a Fiora ban as well. That means both Zac and Galio are open with WE on blue side. Which one do you give up?
I think you definitely give up the Galio. Zac is just out of control broken right now, in my opinion.
3 seconds left.
Oh,
the
I'm
clock
clinching.
is ticking. What about neither? As Thresh is the ban, which means WE now have to choose between Galio and Zac. And more importantly, wait a second before picking up Condi or Mystic's champion.
Yeah, here's the interesting thing. So Zac is banned so frequently, it could be that even though Team WE would like to prioritize the Zac, this time around they are looking at the Galio. Maybe Condi doesn't have as much play time on it. I mean, you never get to really play around or flex on those types of champions to feel comfortable taking it into a competitive match.
Looks like Galio is the go-to for Team WE. Ning, it's time to show us. Have you been keeping up with the current trends in solo queue?
I mean, you effectively called Team WE's bluff, so if you don't pick it up here,
Then that would be a huge mistake.
there we go.
Okay, immediately the offer from Duke. Come on, your thrusters are running out. Hopefully he'll come back down to earth.
Okay, so I am very excited that I finally get to cast a Zac game. We have seen him earlier on today when he took down EG in the hands of Karen from Dan Gaming. We've also seen him, I believe, once in the LCK before he was immediately banned again.
Banned forever.
The thing about Zac is that his jungle speed is just so strong right now. His ability to slingshot around the jungle means that his pathing is incredibly effective, not only in ganks, but very quick when he's going through his own jungle. His CC lock is disgusting. The fact that he can pretty much Q you, be standing on his nexus, and then Q you in your nexus, and then like pull you to the mid lane.
It's 800 range.
It's really long.
Plus 175, plus 350, so it comes out to like 1400. It's
like,
not that bad.
What? Have you played against him, Dom?
So his range is 800 on the initial Q. His follow-up auto attack has 300 range, so it's a grand total of 1100 tether range.
But the fact that he is no longer so reliant on his ultimate to make successful ganks work.
Well, as it is, Condi is going to attempt to put that Zac in the bin, as Rengar is his champion of choice against the likes of Zac. With Elise open, with Lee Sin open, he goes for the assassin instead.
Now, we know that Condi is a big Rengar player and probably one of the most successful in the LPL, but that comes naturally when you're on the top team, so Condi certainly has carried games on the champion, though. You think back to the LPL finals when he took the champion out against Uzi's Twitch, of all things.
Yeah.
But it does mean that you're going to have a slower pace, kind of levels 1 through 6 while you're ramping up.
Wasn't it Condi on Rengar who we saw, I think, set the record for Rengar? Where he just absolutely was going crazy. It was like 12-0-7 or something.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was. It's not coming to mind right now. Frankly, the thing is that Rengar is really great at counter ganks if he doesn't have his ultimate. But that means that he needs to be that much more attentive about where Ning is and where he's setting up these ganks.
And again, this is Condi, so we should be expecting him to keep tabs on Ning all over the place, despite the creative gank paths from that Zac. Now, getting into the next phase of bans, as there's a Braum and a Kennen picked up, you've got Kled, Cassiopeia, and now Caitlyn. As we're just swapping through the priorities, we still have yet to see, oh, interesting, a Kled ban, so that maybe they're expecting Xie to take the Galio mid?
I mean, we've seen Galio mid more often than not.
Yeah.
The thing about the top lane is he's not super punishing in the 1v1s. Like, Galio's excellent at standing across from someone and just clearing waves infinitely and never dying. Yeah, if he gets a hold of you, he can kill you, but normally you can just kind of walk away from him. So it makes sense that in the mid lane, you know, his ultimate means more because he's got a shorter distance to walk to interact with the top lane as well as the bottom lane. He can take the double teleport. He can deny a lot of the big burst mages that like to be there. And also we have a Kennen, so you don't want to stand across from that anyway.
We have a Taric now locked in here on the LPL. Blitzcrank Taric. and Callista as well. Alrighty.
I don't see why you're doubting so much. Look at how unkillable that team is. If you place the Taric ultimate and then you slingshot into a team fight, and then Zach has his passive on top of that.
Yeah, so it's not the unkillable nature of it. I think it's the fact that we are seeing so many unique picks in 2 days.
It's the beautiful thing about this meta is just how versatile and flexible it is. It's so wide open. We've seen so many Callistas. We're going to see another one. Xie is going back to the Kassadin, which, look at the lack of wave clear on that team.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough. WE hopefully will have some momentum on their side, as now we're looking for mid lane. Rookie gets the chance to counterpick into that Kassadin. He can take anything he so desires.
Oh, I'm really concerned for Team WE coming into this draft. I really, really don't like it.
Ooh, and look at this. Talia is going to be locked in, so wave clear top, bottom, and mid. IG are prepared should they find themselves behind.
There's also so much mobility to match any of the mobility that Kassadin really has. Like, Talia is going to beat him out into those side lanes. She can safely wave clear away from him. This is so dependent on Team WE's laners really getting ahead to be proactive.
Do you think it could be Invictus Gaming calling the bluff of like, hey, we know you can play the 35-minute long slow game or the super early game. We think you're going to do the long game this time, so we're going to go hard early. Or is it just WE sort of picking themselves into this style as a matter of circumstance?
But it makes more sense to me that you would just have a well-rounded composition and you have multiple bridging points. Like, we have a champion who can carry early game. We'd have a champion that, if it goes late game, usually the AD carry, we have this option. So why wouldn't you do that?
I don't have an answer for you, Frost.
Every time.
Yes.
But I will say this, Callista Braum on top of Rengar, because anytime you DC the Braum, it's about empowering that 3v3 rather than the 2v2. Although he's against Taric, so that 2v2 is still not bad for him. But there's a huge window for Condi to execute on that bottom. Sorry, I got tangled up in my mic.
Stuck on the desk.
Literally almost died.
Yeah, it is going to be difficult, but Condi, very, very good on the likes of that Rengar. He now gets a chance to take it against currently one of the strongest champions in the meta.
But why? Zach is strong.
He has a Galio as well. So I love seeing dive champions with Galio, because it takes the whole, oh no, I want to protect my teammate, to a completely different level of we're diving. We're really diving.
But I feel like the Rengar Galio combo is like a janky Zach.
Well, yeah.
Because Zach can just do it by himself.
Rengar will leap in, and then Galio is the one who provides the knockup.
Yeah, he just slingshots his way in, he picks everyone else. With Rengar and Galio, you get the same thing, but with 2 champions.
Yeah, it's certainly really strong. And again, the fact that it's a 0.1 second difference.
Yeah, but it's also not just about the Rengar. He's also got the Kassadin. It's very similar to the Shin Kassadin combo that we saw JD Gaming try to execute on just the other day. So also watch out for how 957 is going to interact not only with Condi, but also CA.
With that, though, we've loaded onto the Rift. It's game number 3 between Team WE and IG. Ooh, the IG chants were actually a little bit louder there. Seems like they might be out in force here, rooting for the underdogs in the power rankings.
Like I said, Dom, this is the TSM CLG of China. These are the longest standing organizations. They are both older than the LPL itself. This was Chinese League of Legends' birthplace, the Pillars. And fans, you pick one side and you draw the line.
You stick to it. Is it still true that if you make a new account in
you get W's
China,
icon,
you get the WE icon?
It's the
That's
only.
how much of a staple it is.
It's the only team icon that you automatically get having a Chinese account.
I bet IG's not too happy about that. But perhaps they could try to turn things around.
Well, maybe they should have won IPL 5.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, we've got Xie actually. Oh, he actually took one of the tiny raptors.
He's actually also getting a really powerful leash, because not only is it Kassadin and Galio taking his raptors and leashing for him, but it's also Braum and Callista leashing the red buff.
Yeah, this is so crazy. He's going to get level 6 after, or level 2
Immediately level
after
6.
6 minions, which could be catch Rookie by surprise if he's not paying attention, as immediate harass onto Mystic and Ben. Meanwhile, level 2 picked up just fine for Condi. The only thing that's missing is 957 is a little slow into top lane, but he's against Ken and not going to shove that too quick.
Yeah, and it's Galley who's just going to step back, use his passive, use his Q, and he's going to be perfectly fine down there. But this is something that Team WE actually do a lot when Condi's on Rengar, and possibly why the other LPL teams aren't as successful on the champion, because they don't really babysit the Rengar as well. They just kind of leave him to his own devices. You leash your own camps.
Yeah.
And then it slows down his race to that level 6, whereas Team WE will kind of bend over backwards, sacrifice their own individual lane strengths to make sure that Condi gets on the right foot.
And that's immediately what we see here. He's already level 3, going for a very fast clear.
Look at how fast he
Ning
jungles.
is just racing through, using that unstable matter to clear out the small Kruglings as Xie gets tossed in, forced to flash under his turret. Rookie. He's thinking about it. He's really thinking about it.
Rookie is the Taliyah OG. He was the first guy to ever bring this champion into the LPL and one of the first to play it ever competitively. This is his sweet spot. It hasn't always been smooth sailing for Rookie on this. It's pretty sick to watch.
Yes. And oh man, it's so risky, but Xie is actually healing himself up now. Condi going for almost a full clear. Turns towards Scuttle Crab on the way out. Recall actually finished from Ning as he picked up a Ruby Crystal before heading back into the jungle to continue clearing. But Condi with a slight experience advantage and with double buff might look for a gank top. Or Recall.
Just checking to see if the Krugs were going to be available. Sometimes junglers don't take them if he's in the area. He actually did cancel his back though, but I suspect he'll go back. I suspect he's going in.
Yeah, he could be looking for Duke. Flash, great reaction. Duke has landed. I repeat, we have touchdown.
But we have traded Flash from both top laners,
Yes.
so it's not just Duke at the disadvantage. There's also opportunity now for Ning to punish in the top lane.
Ooh, good save from Ben to keep Mystic safe from Harass. Looks like the Harass is swapping a little bit this time as Mystic and Megan are putting some pressure onto Mystic and Ben. Sorry, Megan and West.
So while we finally look down at this lane, we can kind of talk about, you know, melee supports in general, how the Door and Shield meta has really brought a lot of power back towards them. Although, as I say that...
No, he's on top of a ward. She's giving me a look like you think that's going to stop him.
He can
He's
jump
gonna go
the
in.
map!
Not at level 4. That's only 3 levels. Or actually, he's only got 2 levels in it.
Of course, they
It's
now...
a very small range.
If you haven't played Jungle Zac yet, they're now maxing E into the jungle just because they can
You've
get...
always been Max E. Unless you take him in lane... Well, when he used to be played top lane, you would do Max W.
Okay, then maybe this is just me because I played
Yeah.
top lane Zac.
Oh, well. You
I
should always Max E.
I like to play champions where no one has fun. That's why I'm on my new kick right now.
I think Zac is one of my highest KDA champions. He's still here.
It's just on the other side. Look
And
at
there
that
he goes.
range.
That's at level 2, and he does miss these stretching strikes, but Rookie's still able to follow up with some harass.
Rookie's like, mate.
Come on. If I can hit the skill shot, you can too. Alrighty, level 5 for Ning. So now level 3 of the Elastic Slingshot. He's getting up there in range. But yeah, as we said, let's get back down to that bottom lane. You were talking about the resurgence. No, he's not. He's
going
fine.
top.
He's fine. You were talking about the resurgence of melee supports because of the Doran shield meta. Now, is this because poking and trading is less effective overall?
100% because then you get the refresh from the Doran shield, and so the ability to go all in increases exponentially and opens up more safety nets for melee supports. Most of them have more all-in engagements anyway.
Really? The ability to go all in from a Dorian shield?
Hold on.
Oh, but they're going to force a fight. Rookie's up there as well with the Weaver's Wall, but Condi hasn't been spotted. He leaps onto Rookie and turns it around. That's Cleanse and Flash as Ning shows up. Stretching Strikes needs to auto. That was the shortest range I have ever seen.
But it did get him out of
It did, yes.
trouble. And likewise, if Ning had found the auto, then the Gallia ultimate would have put him into safety anyway because he's untargeted during it. And what I mean by all in is that if poking has lost its effectiveness because damage can't stick to you, then the only other option is either you get a safe free lane phase for pretty much any matchup desirable, or you put pressure on and you go all in and you just kill them because you don't allow the Doran's Blade to recoup your health. Now that said, with Braum and Taric, it's a bit more easier with Braum, especially when you include the jungler and start proccing that passive. But you can already see that Kalista is having so much trouble dodging out of those Taric stuns when he just runs directly at her.
Already saw a little bit of harassment trades down there. Perhaps that could result in some more action later on, as Duke is still playing so safe this game. He is not taking any chances.
Has a much better time, though, likewise on the cannon.
Yeah.
So I feel like Duke, he got a little bit arrogant the first time around. He was like, Kled, I can take Rumble to that, no problem.
Teleports in as, whoa, Xie with the smooth sidestep.
That was an interesting interaction to Rift Walk over the knockup. Fortunately, it forces Rookie back. And Rookie's kind of in a, as I say that, every time.
Was he level 6? That's actually pretty good range. He actually has let's bounce as well. Is he going to look for Mystic, as that's the auto, and first blood onto Megan. That's going to be a flash auto for a stun. Condi leaps in. It's 2 versus 3, though. Stun locks Ben against the wall. He's got no summoner spells. He's pulled towards his turret as Ning pulls him in, but it's not enough.
You can see what Ning was trying to do there. Probably should have just reached for a creep there, but wanted to CC Tarek at least a little bit. They do still do the damage, however, and pick up the first blood kill. It is unfortunate that it goes into Megan's hands.
And with that, we've got recalls completed. I'm sure he's absolutely thrilled about it. Upgraded Relic Shield, Sightstone Boots.
Look at all those control wards.
And yeah, IG, they are playing the vision game this time. Here it goes once again. Ning goes in.
And it's just the range, reach, and aggressiveness of Zac, and then the immediate CC and follow-up. He also got good flashes out of Team WE, so it can be punished repeatedly, which means that Team WE need to be so, what's the word?
Cautious? Careful.
Obsessive about their vision. Like,
Okay.
people, like, forget how to play against Zac and forget how to play against Rek'Sai. And then when the champions come back in, they forget how to ward. It's kind of like with Evelyn. It completely changes up the warding patterns.
Yeah. Oh, Xie. That is not a fun lane to be in. He even went for a blasting wand first. That is bold, my friend.
And he's pretty much paying the price for it, as Rookie has had a much more conservative build.
And still not quite enough for a Catalyst, but he's certainly getting there towards that Rod of Ages. But now we're getting towards the 10-minute mark. Invictus Gaming with their very, very strong jungler on that Zac. Now with a slight advantage, trying to get some vision on this bottom side of the map. You can see some defensive control wards from Team WE towards that side of the map as well, along with an offensive ward from 957 up in the Tri-Bush. And with all of this vision control, they're just going to sit back and continue laning for now, as everyone's content to sort of collect this gold for the time being.
I'm actually really surprised that we have such an elongated laning phase. Not surprised from Team WE, but mostly from Invictus Gaming. We've seen Rookie kind of unlock himself and head towards the top lane, but I feel like he should be looking to do that bottom as well as top a bit more often, which just kind of speaks to how well, not Xie's playing the lane, but trying to keep Rookie locked down at least.
Here we go. Finally gets a chance to free himself up, but it's just in time with the blue buff. Much higher priority, but he does still have that Weaver's Wall. You can see Ben now heading up towards the river the moment that Rookie goes missing.
Yeah, Ben and Mystic smartly taking their back timers, synced up with IG taking their blue buff, so there's no option for IG to be like, hey, we can take the blue buff, and while we're down here...
Yeah. But no, they play it safe. You actually even had recall from 957, who's currently heading bottom.
Yeah, they're actually, like you said, swapping lanes. So after tower fortification drops, they're going to see if they can get the jump and possibly pressure either an early Rift Herald with the objective control that Callista has.
Not Duke.
Or an early tower.
Oh, he's actually recalling right now. They're about to see 957 down there, and with Ning waiting out of vision.
Ultimately, this means that they could just possibly burn a teleport. No, he's actually just going to walk down. So yeah, it's going to be the race and trade, but Team WE, a 2-for-1 special, because they're also going to pick up Rift Herald.
Yeah, Condi's able to solo that one out rather easily. Winds of War clears out a little bit of the minions, but it's nowhere near enough as IG rush onto the turret. Condi still finishing off the Herald, taking a little bit of time. There he goes. And looks like it's going to be Invictus Gaming that take the first turret of the game, though they will take a few shots.
They ran out of creeps, however.
Oh, do they use Rift Herald top and go for 2? Go for gold?
I mean, you might as well push all the way through because that's the one advantage that you have over IG. Why not take that monster objective advantage and turn it into a structure advantage?
Take a look at where Duke is sitting right now. He's currently holding in the mid lane because he's not sure where Condi's going to go. And actually now shows himself in that mid lane as he starts creeping forward. Recall from the bottom as Rookie is fighting Xie. It's Kassadin versus Talia, though. Flash isn't going to get you away from that Null Sphere. Top tier 1 goes down to Herald, and WE are still pushing strong.
But you do see that Taric and Varus are rushing up to the top lane to try to stall this one out. Herald will get another charge, however.
Ning, can he catch the reaction of Xie? He cannot. Let's Bounce still on cooldown, so he hasn't used his ultimate yet, but that's already a very safe Kassadin. That turret is taking a lot of damage. West is trying to clear it out, but Rift Herald will have none of it. 2 turrets for 1 WE.
I mean, I had questions. What type of growing pains would Team WE bring into Summer Split? How much vacation time have they had? And they seem so on top of the meta. Beautiful use of the Rift Herald to turn a tower trade into a 2-man trade. And then the solo kill, this is just the cherry on top. We said that Rookie is stylish on the Talia, but he also has a tendency to do that.
It's infrequent, but it does happen. One of the side effects of looking so awesome is that when you don't look awesome by comparison.
And pretty much all this does is kind of slingshot the ball back into Xie's court, where he was really struggling because he was constantly getting pushed in, constantly getting poked down, and constantly having to make earlier backs. That kill puts him right back even and just ahead of Rookie in terms of gold.
About 600 gold up. West, though, is making up for that, though, as he's about 500 gold of his opponent. And taking a look at Duke, he's 300 gold up over 957. So when it's all said and done, still fairly close. Now, Megan is going to start working on this top tier 1 along with West, but 957 feels very safe just stepping in and clearing out that wave. So that's going to be safe for quite some time. And now there are pings going down onto the Dragon. So we're starting to see the pace of the game accelerate a bit. And the silence stops the channel. I got way too excited. I really thought they were going to go much harder than they did, but he just walked away.
He still had Flash and he still had his passive,
Yeah.
so it'd be a big task to take down Zach, even at this point in the game.
I thought it was like a deliberate timing, like, oh my god, they're going to chase him down and go for a kill. No, it just happened to be lucky timing. Condi, though, he is making the intelligent decision. He's going right for that Dragon after seeing Ning on the top side of the map.
Yeah, so not slowing down and continuing to jump and snowball, or excuse me, hopscotch to each new objective. So they've got Ocean, you can see Mystic on the bottom of your screen. He's already prepping the wave to push down bottom. And now Xie pushes the wave forward, and he's probably also going to make his rotation underneath those control wards to threaten bottom tower. Oh, nope, he leaped forward. I'm just watching Kassadin.
Just harassing Rookie over and over. You can see even the Haunting Guys start from him. As Xie leaps in immediately, Ning follows up, stretching strikes, pulls him to a minion. He's got Let's Bounce as well, but holds on to it as Condi turns around immediately. Ning flashes back. Very respectful of this, as 957 leads the charge with an Idol of Duran. They don't have an AD carry with them just yet, as Mystic is only just now catching up.
But Xie's greed kind of stalls out Team WE. Ultimately, I mean, nothing got traded for it, but they were setting up for their bottom. If Xie had actually just left the lane, they could have pressured him to continue to take objectives. But because he steps forward, because he's in trouble, the team has to collapse around him and burn a teleport.
Yeah, and we're seeing Rookie really suffer here in this lane now that his jungler has left. Forced to complete a recall right now as Duke is actually zoning away 957 on this side of the map, but for a brief window, Xie is unlocked. And IG are forcing a fight bottom. They're looking for Mystic, dropping the ultimate just in time to stall it out. Knockup is going to waste a lot of that time. Knockup will still find West as he makes his way out of here as they are split. Xie has teleported down. Stun onto West will almost surely grant them the kill. Look at all those spears. You don't need that many Mystic.
Excellent use of the CC as now Condi finds another one.
Yeah, he finds Megan running away and immediately leaps over the wall, over the Weaver's wall as well, and gets another kill solo. So that's now 3-1 for WE, but we did see the top tier 1 broken by Ning and Duke.
And this is really devastating for Invictus Gaming across the map. That's so much kill gold now in the pockets of Team WE, and while it doesn't reflect in the scoreboard, they're just kind of snowballing ahead. These are champions that are going to ramp into the late game very hard.
And 957 now trading with Duke a little bit more as Condi is spotted. Whoop! Just pulls him into the Grong. Now Kiss as he smacks them together. And Rookie makes his way out. For a second, I thought that's the replay we were going to get, as this is the kill bomb.
Excellent use of CC on the Taric ultimate. Dude, wait out the duration of the invulnerability, and just unfortunate for West there, the angle that he was taking up, that he was unable to connect the stun onto Ben. That said, with the teleport coming in from Cassidy, he was 100% dead either way. I hate you.
It was so perfect. Ah! Okay. 17 and a half minutes in. And that's all I'm going to think of now whenever I see him.
It's so perfect. He just pulls them.
Okay.
That's what that's called now, Dom. You did it. You named it the Now Kiss.
Oh, deep breaths. That's what we're doing.
Think happy thoughts.
Oh, no. Please don't let us. Okay. All right. This is them trying to kill 957. And, oh, I guess they did kill 957.
What do you mean trying to kill?
Yeah.
Wow, you got really invested in that Gromp
really
Zach
was.
storyline.
I thought that's where they were going. I was so enchanted by the moment that I thought that the LPL casters all the way across the ocean could hear my joke from across time and space. Oh, boy. Okay, and now 3-2. Even in gold, taking stock. 3 turrets to 2 as well. WE just barely a step ahead. They've still got that first dragon. Baron's up in 90 seconds, and we're seeing WE now starting to move across the map a little bit more effectively, it looks like, than IG. As they set up for a pick in the mid lane. It's against the likes of a Taric, though, so not going to be too successful.
Tell them that. So the objective that Team WE want right now is going to be this mid tower. Unfortunately, though, with Zach not spotted out into a ward, it makes it really dangerous to overextend.
Oh, yeah, they are going to force a fight. Rookie shows up, but 957 stalls it out. Huge Cosmic Radiance is going to keep the team at full health as IG continue to chase forward, and 957 dies as Duke follows up into the back line. He teleported in just in time to catch Xie, who leaps and flashes to get away from Ning. Stretching strikes misses as well. Good sidestep, presence of mind from Xie.
And this is where Zach is strong. He's not a low econ champion, but just his mid game is so potent and powerful because he gets so many free tanky stats.
Now Ning charges up just in case anyone wanted to defend the mid-tier 1, but just like that, we are even in kills, we're even in turrets as well. Here's that play.
And here's how the combo works. So Zach goes in, immediately the invulnerability is pulled because they know this is going to be the all-out team fight. A great wall from Rookie locks them all in, and they do pick up at least 1 kill for their troubles, but the rest of Team WE get the hell out of Dodge.
A very good preemptive Cosmic Radiance to keep IG at full health. They couldn't have seen the bounce house incoming, but they did as Ning misses that one. But now we get towards that 20-minute mark. Baron is now a real possibility as Infernal Dragon is up in 30 seconds. And IG are fighting back.
And it's all of these big cooldowns coming back up. So Duke and Rookie still waiting on their cooldowns, won't be up in time for the Dragon, which gives an innate advantage to Team WE, which is why you see their confidence moving into that river.
They're taking the Scuttle Crab right now. Ning is spotted on top of a ward. He's finished off a Kindle Gem on top of that Cinder Hulk enchant as, oh, they're looking for Condi. If they can kill the jungle, they can get rid of that, but a great roar breaks him free from the crowd control, and then a flash to escape to safety as he does let out a nice hearty burp before scaring the rest of IG back.
We do need to be careful, however, those cooldowns.
Condi leads the charge. There's the dive combo we were talking about, but Ning is in the back line. Just kidding, that's the front line. He didn't go quite far enough. And they do reset. Lots of cooldowns used. Flash burned by Megan and Rookie, or West and Rookie.
Team WE do have control of the side waves, but IG, knowing that they're running out of time, are they going to do it?
They're thinking about it. WE are on the Infernal Dragon.
Okay, here
Ning
comes
could
Zach.
give it the flyby. There's the wall to separate the team. He leaps in, but it's already secured and goes a little bit too far. Cosmic Radiance is not, actually will keep his bubbles alive as all 5 members are involved. They force the fight, but that is now going to be Ning going down. A huge knockup. Fate's call is absolutely enormous, and the AoE is stacked in the chaos of the fight. Condi leaps in, but it's up to Duke and Rookie. The 2 Koreans taking on the world, but it is not enough. Duke falls down as Rookie runs away.
And and Team WE just slaughter Invictus Gaming and rush through them on a massive and pivotal team fight. Not only was it at the Dragon, but it's also a deep teleport and a rush towards Baron.
Not just one, but two. Xie and 957 are in. Rookie, the sole survivor, is making his way back as WE will snowball their momentum onto the Great Purple Worm. They are now very happily and very comfortably in the driver's seat in this game.
And it's just their ability and their confidence about how they're able to 5v5. They are one of the best 5v5 teams in the LPL. Now take a look at this. Ning overreaches, he doesn't get the dragon, and he pretty much just dies for free. Then there's the Taric ultimate, which actually doesn't absorb a lot of damage because they're just dealing with the two tanks and the supports. And by the time that the actual damage dealers turn on to Invictus Gaming, they don't have that Taric ultimate, on top of the fact that that Fate's Call was beautiful. Picture perfect. So everything that could have gone wrong for IG did.
And now they find themselves 2,000 gold down against a Baroned up Team WE. There's a Rengar who can dive, 957 on Galio who can follow up, not to mention the incredible damage that Mystic is doing now, as Xie is already starting to scale up with his Lich Bane as well. So things are looking a bit dire. They need to wait out this buff before trying to reclaim control, or perhaps look for a pick, which is exactly what we see out of Ning just outside of Vision.
And it's so unfortunate because the Baron buff is the only thing that really breaks towers for Team WE.
Oh, they found Condi. Immediately 957 drops the ultimate Cosmic Radiance, but Let's Bounce carries 957 back, unfortunately right on top of Rookie. Bit of regret despite that awesome mechanic. It ends up kicking them in the face.
That's one of those feel-bad moments when the Singed flings the tank onto your backline.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
I'm helping.
Yeah, they're forcing a fight right now as Duke is split pushing on the opposite side of the map. Megan can't even make it through the base gates, and now they're diving onto Ning. He still doesn't have the cell division. West dies as well, and Duke is nowhere to be seen.
And for the last 5 minutes, Invictus Gaming have completely lost any sort of footing that they had into this game. They lost a single dragon fight, which snowballed into the Baron, and then took the worst possible fight on the Baroned up creeps. If they died there, they weren't just going to lose one tower, they're going to lose their entire base.
Yeah, the inhibitor is broken. 1, 2, 3, 4 structures are down in the span of 30 seconds. Soon to be 5 as Xie is split pushing a side lane.
And again, Team WE's composition was so reliant on having the Baron to siege. It's a Galio, it's a Kassadin, it's a Callista. None of these champions can siege well.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the Baron, this game could have stalled out infinitely until they did.
As it is, though, WE are now 7,000 gold ahead. Weren't they just like 300 or 500? Wasn't it like super tiny?
We went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I look at his grin. It's small, but you can see it.
To be fair, it's kind of difficult on Callista because she
She
moves
moves,
away,
yeah.
and so you want to like stand
You
close
never
to
quite
it.
know where you're going. You have to give it the attack S, or to make sure you don't just bounce. Alrighty. WE still with the Baron buff for what looks to be another minute, perhaps a little bit more. Now heading towards the top lane. They don't have teleport on Xie or 957, but as 5, they are a dangerous force to be reckoned with. Ben? Oh, don't do it! Chain of Corruption. It's still the support, though. Condi actually leaps in, and 957 immediately reacts. They turn it into a fight as Mystic collapses and starts stacking spears. Spears, is it enough, though? She is in the back onto Rookie, and it is going to be enough. WE turn this attempted assassination into a one-team fight, and very likely the game.
And that's it, Team WE proving everyone that they are still the best team in the LPL, at least for now and at least in their group.
Yeah, they rush onto the Nexus turrets. Ning gets a huge knock-up, but without a huge Let's Bounce into the fountain. This game is over, ladies and gentlemen. Team WE have done it 2-1 over IG. And with this, they retain the title of best in the LPL.
And that's a star-studded finish, a 25-minute domination over Invictus Gaming. Rookie's just scratching his head like...
I actually disagree with that. I think it was a 22-minute game and a 3-minute domination.
It was the roller coaster. We were just going up,
Yeah.
and then we finally hit the drop.
You ever get those like fake roller coasters where you go up and then you go flat for a little bit?
Yep.
And then it drops as if to fake you out? Like you can't see that coming. You just look at the tracks.
Have been on that ride.
Yes. You can see them all shaking hands right now. The rivalry still lives on. WE showing that they need to play at full power if they want to defeat IG.
I mean, congratulations, Team WE. You reign supreme again. A very well-deserved bout and an incredible performance. And not only in their macro play, great Rift Herald play in particular, but also in their individual mechanical abilities.
And glad to see that they haven't been taking their time off a little lax. They didn't have a great performance at Demacia Cup, but it shows that, hey, maybe they were preparing for the LPL instead, because they are still looking absolutely great.
Of course, Ning was on your screen just a second ago, looking quite disappointed with himself. That said, you know, his first series competitively in the LPL, not too shabby.
Yeah. Then again, when your first series is against the likes of Condi, the MVP from the spring split, it is going to be a little bit of a rocky ride.
Certainly wanted to cut his teeth on that one, though. And
oh, yeah.
He did get the power champion of Zach.
Was able to have a strong performance in game number 1 as well. And that is game number 3 finally wrapped up for us. Now to help us break down what we just saw, not only in this game but in the series in general, is Rusty. Welcome back.
Imagine losing with Zach, Dom. Imagine beating EDG with Zach earlier in the day if you're Dan Gaming, and then suddenly losing with it if you're Invictus Gaming. Was not the best performance from them, but it was also just a much better performance from WE. I think it's the biggest thing above all else. They warmed up as the series progressed. Game 1 was a bit iffy. It was a bit of a struggle. Game 2, they started to find their footing. Game number 3, they never look like slowing down. And this is closer, once again, to that WE you want to see playing League of Legends. Play slow, hit your stride, and never look back and win within 5 minutes.
It is such a scary thing when you're playing against a team that, like you said, Frost, can go from 0 to 100 at the drop of a hat. They won a team fight. They took turrets, they took Baron, then they took an inhib and won the game.
I mean, it's knowing how to most effectively punish any sort of advantage that they're given. Like, you give Team WE an inch, and they will literally take a mile. It was a single dragon fight that just suddenly ballooned into about a 7k gold deficit.
And it did have so much potential to go either way. I mean, you saw IG preparing. If Ning had gotten in a little bit sooner, if he had actually connected the stretching strikes between Condi and Mystic and got the crowd control.
Or if Megan used his ultimate earlier to actually set the Zach up to go in, they both went earlier, then maybe things would be different. And that, for me, is actually where I would start this, because I think that was an atrocious Tarek performance. I'm actually very disappointed because I think Tarek is good. I think Tarek has a lot of potential, and it completely missed. You can see the combo that's there, though, right? You've got a Zach that goes in. You can place the stun on the Zach as he goes in. The knock-up, if it doesn't hit and you flash away from it, you're still stunning the person who's used the displacement spell to dodge, because the area of effect you're hitting is actually significantly larger. It's almost like a key-shaped AoE CC that you can put down. Like, really strong potential there. You've also got the cannon that you can ultimate, so even though a cannon's flanks aren't going to be ideal as an AD cannon, you put a Tarek ultimate onto him, he can still stun everybody, as if he has the zonies like an AP cannon would work. None of it connects. Megan missed every stun that I saw him throw. Even if it was dodged, they still missed. Like, you have to work to hit them as Tarek. It wasn't the best performance.
Yeah, and to be completely fair, it seems like this wasn't the best performance from IG as a whole, right? Like, Megan was missing those stuns, obviously, but West had a lot of difficulty in lane in the first few games, as Ben, you could see, is going to get the MVP in that game. His Braum was absolutely massive during the laning phase.
Surprising to see a support ever get mentioned in MVP. I'm glad to see it, though. Ben has had this coming for a very long time. He's been just a consistent backbone and a great addition to Team WB's roster.
And look, yeah, Tarek aside from the opposition side, it was all WE playing a lot better in this one. And Ben is a good example of this. They've shown the Kalista as well. Now, more than one team in the LPL definitely shows that Kalista is an option in the AD carry role, starting to creep up as a meta pick, at least in the LPL. We've seen Imp play it, now we've seen Mystic play it. The 2v2 bottom lane with the Braum Kalista is always strong. And actually using the Kalista's ultimate to knock about 3 people up in a team fight. Things like that aren't a part of your kit, using it perfectly, which means the communication was sound between the 2v2.
Yeah, and that sort of communication was present throughout all of WE. And we saw moments where IG had it. For example, in game number 1, when they collapsed upon Mystic for overextending and were actually able to punish it. But that communication was... it seemed like a little bit slower, maybe a little missing in game 2 and 3.
Unfortunately, they never really got to a point where they could even use that communication effectively because they were losing individual lanes across the board. Duke was doing his best trying to just kind of absorb all the pressure that he was getting. Condi was constantly visiting up there. Galio and Kassadin crashing his party up there, but, you know, Rookie died 1v1 in the mid lane multiple times. The 2v2 was struggling because Tarek wasn't able to connect with any form of CC, so...
It does create an interesting question. Do we thus dethrone Duke as the best top laner in the LPL?
He didn't have a great performance this series, but I still have faith that Duke will pick it back up.
Okay.
I can't comment on his 1v1 when it's never a 1v1.
Yeah.
Like,
well.
best top laner is a holistic term, yes, but he was completely camped. Their jungler never existed near that lane, which isn't exactly standard for an IG jungler. Maybe some adaptation to be found now, working out the differences.
And we had this conversation a little bit earlier, Dom. You know, this renaissance of the top lanes, the fact that AJ's playing super well, that Flandre's kind of returning to form, 957's now a superstar, and then the influx of someone like Duke. It wasn't too long ago that there weren't any good top laners in the LPL, and now suddenly there's a whole bunch of them. So
it's good that we do get to see that growth. Rusty, you had something you wanted to hit just before
Yeah,
that?
it was also like when we looked at both team compositions before this at the actual draft and what they wanted to achieve, the reason we mentioned Brom and Kalista, like MVP performance from Ben, there's also another 2v2 that was there in the team, and that was the Rengar Galio, and that's where the bulk of the team fighting success was actually coming from, is that like, whilst the 2v2 from the bottom lane were just protecting each other and killing the closest person, Rengar jumping in with a Galio following that up, there was some really sick wombos coming out of that 2v2. And again, the whole team's communication wasn't necessary, because what I was impressed the most about with Team WE was their individual communication in team fighting. Target selection, they'd all hit the one target when they called that target out. You could see the Galio with no hesitation was ulting the second Rengar was jumping in, even in situations where it looked bad.
Yeah, and that's the sort of communication that you really have to hone and practice to get. This is something that the team has been growing since they started seeing success earlier on this year. Question is, though, will that continue? We saw the same problem out of RNG, where they came in spring split. They were at the top of their group with little to no competition, and now look at RNG now. They've lost to the likes of OMG, and they seem to be dropping off.
yeah, but Team WE were so consistent and tight into this series. Also, their drafting, probably the cleanest that we've seen of the series, and their adaptation in their draft as well. The fact that they kind of fumbled it in the initial game and then immediately recognized what had gone wrong and fixed it.
I just wonder, like, who can challenge them in that anyway, right? Like, this is the best part of their team right now. Is there any team in the LPL that could actually take them on in that way, or is it all just individual players that are still learning how to be a team? And, like, at what point would we even say that WE are able to be challenged in team play?
I've got no answer. I would love to know.
And the reason I'm asking
We'll
the
find out
question
in
is
9
because
weeks.
there isn't an answer just
yes.
yet. It doesn't exist.
And well, in 10 weeks we'll know
Well, yes.
at the end of the split.
I feel like you'd have to take different kind of fragments of all the other LPL teams. Like, you'd need the hype 5v5 capabilities of maybe OMG, like that ceiling that we've seen from them, although it's very unrefined. You'd need the individual star power of RNG on the likes of the Xiaohu and the Uzis. And then you'd need, like, the incredible drafting mind of
WE.
Yeah. And then you combined all of these.
By
So
all
if
our
you
powers
take WE
combined.
out of WE, you can beat them.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. And
a
that
thinking
creates one SKT.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so there was actually a great comment that we saw earlier today from Deficio saying that the gap was closing, but then he mentioned that there's actually two gaps, one between other teams in Korea and then, of course, the teams in Korea and SKT. Do you feel like we have any sort of gap here in the LPL, mentioning that WE is so far ahead?
We've seen under half of our teams play, to be fair.
Yeah.
But we're definitely not seeing a gap based off the results. The only one that may exist is Team WE and then the rest. Because right now, as you can see, the rest is a bit confusing.
Yeah. Not too much news in terms of standings, though.
It's actually pretty scary in the sense that, at least for me, I felt like we had, 3 solid teams, maybe 4 solid teams, but I feel like one of those has actually dropped down. EDG, I'm fairly disappointed with. I feel like they're not learning anything. They keep making the same mistakes. RNG, I'll let that one go. OMG looked good, and Team WE. So I feel like where we had, 4 solid teams, now we maybe have 3, 2.5.
If you don't mind me asking, why are we letting RNG off the hook?
Because it was OMG they played against, I'm assuming. And what we said before the split started is we might actually look at a team like OMG and actually call them perhaps the best team in their group. So RNG are definitely still contenders, but OMG are contenders alike. And they looked fantastic. As much as I want to give that as a cop-out for RNG, I still was disappointed with their performance. But against a team like OMG, I had less expectations and more of a closer game expected.
Yeah.
It was also kind of a single blight on RNG where MLXG just really dropped the ball instead of all of RNG falling apart. Xiaohu was still playing incredibly well.
Yeah. Well, then that's going to do it for us then. Any final thoughts on the day before we wrap up?
Thank God one of the top teams won.
Yes. It was not actually the week of upsets. It was very nearly. If IG had won, it would have been 4 upsets in a row. But tragically, it wasn't to be. WE still exerting dominance over the LPL as a whole. But that's going to do it for us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to come back tomorrow to check out more awesome LPL action.